Welcome to the Livfiit Listens podcast, a safe space of growth, personal development, and overall wellness with your host, Olivia Catania, diving into the realms of all things health, conscious living, mental expansion, and much more. This podcast is designed to help you evolve into your best self and live fit. Let's get into the show. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Livfiit Listens podcast. Today, we're on episode 85. I hope everyone is doing super well. I hope everyone's been enjoying the fall time. I feel like we're really thick in the fall right now. I feel like this is like fall prime time, and I've honestly been enjoying it. The colors have been popping where I live here in Utah. The weather has still been beautiful. It's actually been like super nice where it's like still like it definitely gets cool and cold in the mornings and at nighttime, but like in the day it's like that perfect 60, 70 degree weather with like bright blue skies. You can like still wear a cute outfit, don't need a jacket, but like you're not sweating throughout the day. It's like I've been like slowly understanding the fall hype. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, this is actually really cozy. Yesterday morning, I like got a little matcha and a cute little Corona in the morning. It just like, I've been kind of vibing with fall time lately. I'm not going to lie. I've been vibing with the jean jacket. It's been going well. But that actually brings me to my gratitude, because you guys are not going to believe this story. I'm going to try to keep it relatively concise here. But I went up to, it's a place called Guardsman's Pass, and it's basically like this beautiful area with like a bunch of thick trees, and the colors are always beautiful there around this time because there's so many aspens there. And if you don't know, aspens always turn to yellow in the fall time. When I tell you it is a sea of gold up there, it is insane. I literally started to get tearful when I saw like one of the first initial views, because it was stunning, like blew my mind, stunning. I just couldn't even believe that this is real and natural, and like the earth just does this on its own. Absolutely insane. So beautiful. Also with the bluebird skies, it was like, and I swear, the hue of blue that our sky is here where I live in Utah, it's just different. I'm convinced. Like I've never seen this type of blue, I feel like. And so it's just so pretty with the yellow aspens. It was stunning. So not only am I thankful for that time there, because I went up there alone. I needed to drive. I needed a mental health day yesterday. And it was like, it's amazing. Like I feel like I literally can feel my shoulders relaxing. I can feel the weight get lifted off my chest. I feel like I can actually take a deep breath in, like when I go outside. It's insane how much your problems feel like they just go away when you go outside. So like if you're listening to this and you need a sign and you're feeling shitty, like please go outside and like disconnect and like be out in nature. It's life-changing. But anyway, so I'm out there and I'm trying to take some pictures. Just because I like to take pictures and I liked the outfit that I was wearing, but also taking some pictures of something else that I'm launching. If you're watching on YouTube, you already know what it is because you can tell by what I'm wearing. But I'm launching something very soon. I don't have a launch date yet, which I should to be able to tell you guys, but it's definitely soon, like within this week or the following week. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, that's where you need to go to get really up-to-date updates. If you want to be in the loop, follow me on Instagram if you don't already, at Livfiit. Anyway, so I wanted to take pictures of these couple things that I was launching, and I basically was just going with a tripod and my phone, and I just was kind of going to do it myself because I wanted to be like, also the other thing was I really visualized being like the set that I wanted was to be like in the middle of a row of like a ton of really yellow trees, and I luckily found it like off the beaten path, and it was like the perfect thing that I wanted. Anyways, long story short, there's this girl with a camera, and she was a photographer, and she's like, do you want me to take some of your photos, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, of course I want to bother her. So I was like, oh, no, it's like totally fine. Thank you. They're like, I appreciate it. Like it's okay. And then she comes back a little bit later when she took some photos of her own. She's like, are you sure you don't want me to take some pictures and send them to you? Like, I totally can do that. And at that point I was like, F it. Like, okay, sure. Long story short, her and I literally shot for an hour and a half. Not only did we shoot just like fun photos, like just like messing around with like the outfit I was in and like in the leaves and all the fall colors. It was so pretty. But we also shot the products that I needed to shoot for the launch that's coming up. And so she helped me with, and it wasn't like she was a full-on like professional photographer. Like that's what she does for her job. She lives in Salt Lake City, and that's like what she does. She does weddings, portraits, all that sort of stuff. And I like could not believe that there was only like a couple of us on that little trail. So like just like the divine timing of us being there at the exact same time. Like I kept thanking her so much. I was like, thank you so much. This is so kind. This is so thoughtful. Like this is so generous, because she just wasn't expecting anything. And like, it was totally off a whim. And she's like, oh no, please. Like, it's totally fine. Like I like shooting. Like I came out here to take pictures anyways. Like I love doing this. And she was like all into it. And we were just like, bouncing ideas off each other of like different shots and stuff. So like it was so fun to be able to like work with her and do that. Like I always love to take photos, and now I was able to make that connection for like in the future when I do need a photographer for other projects and stuff. And I just was so beyond thankful of that, because like I was kind of having an off day, not really a bad day. I just needed space. Honestly, I needed the air. I needed to go reconnect, honestly, is what I needed. And it was just such a great little thing from uni. Like I thought it was so sweet, and I loved that. And so I'm so thankful for that. I still can't believe it. And I'm so excited to get the pictures back from her, because that was only yesterday. So I want to hop in today's topic, Basically today we're going to be speaking all about adversity. All the challenges, all the quote unquote, the bad stuff, right? The things that don't go our way that we take as, a hit. We think it's, not a good thing, right? And I feel like on this podcast, I'm such a big advocate for having a positive, healthy headspace, for thinking optimistically, etc. And I don't ever want to ignore the fact that there's definitely less favorable things that happen to us. There's challenges, there's adversities. There's so many adversities that happen to me in my life, that have happened to me in my life. Like I never want to come across that like I'm perfect, or that like bad things just don't exist, or whatever the case may be. But I do have a very different take and perspective on it that I want to share with you guys. These are kind of my really true beliefs. This is my truth. This is how I go about life and how I see the adversities that come my way. And what actually sparked this episode was actually a hate comment I got on YouTube. And this is when I'm like, thank you so much for giving me something to talk about. But essentially they were kind of mocking my beliefs, my faithful beliefs, and also essentially kind of speaking on the concept, because it's not the first time that I heard it, that, how can you kind of believe in a higher power essentially if there's still less favorable or quote unquote bad things that happen in life? Like clearly if there's a God, if there's a source, if there's uni, these bad things wouldn't be happening in the world. And basically the comment was like, you would think with all your manifesting, that's what they said, you would think with all your manifesting, like these bad things wouldn't be happening to you. Clearly the uni, they put in quotes, wasn't listening to you that day. And so it was a very comment just based from like mockery. And it was such a low blow to me that I was like, that says so much. Like I genuinely actually didn't even take offense to it or anything, because I was like, that says so much more. It was such a slimy comment. I was like, that says so much more about you and how low you're willing to go than it says anything about me, But that comment really sparked so much passion in me, and it really brought me so much clarity. And it's something that I haven't spoken about. I feel like, well, definitely not ever on this podcast. And it's something I just haven't spoken about in a while. And I do think it really is something that's worth discussing. Here's the thing with adversity. Adversities, challenges, hardships, they are never going to go away in life, right? No matter, I'm always preaching, thinking positively, thinking optimistically, being a creator of your reality. And I believe in all those things through and through, right? But I also know that adversity has a place, right? It's always serving a higher purpose. And I think this is what people lose sight of and lose perspective on, right? They think that adversity is this evil thing. They think it's proof that like bad things always happen to you, or that they don't have good luck. They're unlucky, all this sort of stuff. And they see it as something that's just like pure harm, right? With no other purpose to it. It's just as like this bad thing to put you through hell and to make you suffer. I feel like that's what so many people take adversity as. And with that is purely going hand in hand with what it means to play the victim card. And so people don't understand when they're looking at adversity through that lens, they're wearing the glasses of being a victim. And so you can't help but see a challenge in that light when you're constantly being in that victim state, right? So it's like, that's the inherent view of adversity. They think it's this bad thing. It's basically something solely meant to do nothing but make you suffer, right? And I just don't, that's not the purpose of adversity. It's always serving a higher purpose. The universe is always doing what it can to support us in one way or another. And I truly believe that adversity is there. It's higher purpose that I keep referencing. Adversity is there to give us a lesson. I was just speaking about this because I was going off on a tangent to my boyfriend about it last night because, of course, I was feeling really passionate about it. It's the same damn thing as to why you wouldn't let your 3-year-old want to eat candy for breakfast every single morning. In that moment, that 3-year-old is probably, they don't use this language because they don't think this way, but they're probably like, screw you. They're basically just upset. They're like, screw you. I want to be eating candy every morning. Like, how dare you deprive me of this? Like, I'm suffering now every morning because I want candy and you're not giving it to me. Whereas when now they're 30 and they're looking back, they're like, thank the freaking Lord my parents didn't feed me candy every single morning for breakfast. I'm so much better off because of it. And I think that's exactly what adversity is in life. There are these challenges now for the sake of evolvement and improvement later on. And I think a very real fact of life, like a lot of favorable traits take undesirable conditioning is the word that's coming to my mind, but that kind of sounds a little bit harsh. Sometimes they take undesirable situations, uncomfortable situations. How about that? To then, right? A diamond takes pressure to get created, correct? So it's kind of that same concept. Like sometimes it takes uncomfortable situations in order to create favorable characteristics and have good character later on. It's like, how is good work ethic, going to be created if you've never had to work for anything in your life, right? How is honesty going to be created if you've never had to learn a lesson about honesty, right? Like how is discipline ever going to be learned if you've never had to like go through the actual work of developing that skill? And like to me, that's what adversity is. Like it's all this, it's basically just all this different conditioning to help us grow and evolve as humans. And I am such a firm believer, like that is the reason why we are here on earth, is to grow, learn, and evolve. Excuse me, I just combined everything together. Grow, learn, and evolve. I think that is literally such a core purpose of why every single one of us is on this planet. Otherwise, why would we incarnate into a human being on this planet? Like it doesn't, if you've ever heard the term Earth School, like we are here to learn, we are here to evolve, we are here to overcome, right? And the only way to do those things is through adversity, right? That's how we become better. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we become more empathetic, more compassionate, more well-rounded, diverse human beings. Like otherwise, we might as well just stay in the freaking 5D spiritual lane or stay in a soul and space or whatever you believe, because there would be no reason for us to come to Earth. Like there are so many lessons that inherently come with Earth, but that is the whole purpose of Earth at its core in its entirety anyways. Like we agreed to come here to this earth to experience those adversities, those lessons. We are meant to be here to become better and to grow and evolve. And that's not to say I'm not trying to preach on like personal development 24/7. No, I'm talking about an evolved soul, which can come from you becoming more empathetic by learning how to be a better friend, right? It could be you learning how to be more responsible by learning how to take care of your home space. It's like all these certain things. It doesn't have to be what you're doing to be better than the person next to you or anything like that. I'm not even speaking in those terms. It's just, I feel like we're here on earth to become more evolved souls, and there's so many countless different ways to do that, and so many quality characteristics that are not quantifiable, and there are also some that are quantifiable, right? And I do think that then goes back to your purpose, what you feel like you're here for in life. And I do think people have different lessons that they need to learn. I think there's a reason why there's certain people, certain skills come easily to them, but they have to deal with certain lessons that the person, maybe their childhood best friend, didn't go through those same lessons, because that just wasn't in their soul's contract of what they needed to learn in this lifetime or while they're on earth, or like what is meant for them to learn. I just truly believe that people have different lessons that they're meant to learn. Again, apply this to whatever faith that you believe in. But I do think we are each here with different lessons that we are meant to learn. And same thing with that. That's still the same reason why, there's always one team that wins the game and not the other team. Like, because I feel like that's a big thing. You see athletes thinking like, thank you, God, for helping me win, blah, blah, blah. And then people on the other team was like, well, I was praying to God and I didn't win the game, right? And so to me, it's like, no, that wasn't God or source or higher power, uni, whatever you believe in, just simply punishing them, the other losing team, for the sake of punishing. No, that losing team just was not ready in some fashion to be the winner of that game. They were not ready. They had other lessons that needed to be learned. And I truly feel like that's what it comes down to. It's not like the other team was more worthy or had more luck or whatever, or was the chosen one by the universe. I just truly think the other team simply had more lessons to learn, and they just weren't ready. And like with that, the other thing, it's like so many people, I also feel like they take it as adversity if what they're wanting doesn't come into fruition right away, or they wanted to get the job and they didn't, or they wanted their business to take off and it hasn't yet, like all these sorts of things. And they take that as adversity, that like bad things are happening to them, that they're unlucky, that all these sort of stuff, like it's a shortcoming on their end. But again, it's like the universe is never going to give you something that you are not ready for. You're not going to be able to receive it if you're not ready, because you're not going to be able to maintain it. You're going to lose it just as fast as it came. And that's like another harsh reality, of straightforward reality, I should say, of being like, we are on this 3D earth. There are still laws of the universe. It's still a tangible living environment of us being on this earth. So there's still very tangible skills that need to be gained in order to keep a business running prosperously, in order for you to be able to have that responsibility and leadership skills, to have that high position at your job, in order for you to be a good mother, right? If you're like wanting a pregnancy to come into fruition, in order for you to like be a good spouse or something, it's like you are going to receive it once you're ready, because if you're not ready, you're going to lose it as soon as it's come. So it's like all these things, like nothing is just for the sake of working against you or making you suffer. It's trying to help to give you more lessons to become ready to be able to handle that responsibility, that leadership role, that caretaker role, to basically acquire whatever it is that you're desiring in life. I just think that's such a core perspective of life that's really freaking important, because like I'm saying, adversity is always going to be in your life in some sense or another. Again, not saying that you're going to be suffering your whole life, but like it's going to come up, even small things where like your neighbor is being petty. Like all of these are just opportunities for us to deepen into becoming a better person, and to be more patient, more kind, more hardworking, more disciplined, more patient. All of it is helping us. It's all for the greater good. It's all conspiring to support us in some sense or another. And once you can really, truly digest that and see it as so, that's when you can really start to see the challenging aspects that come with life inherently. You can start to see them with love, and you can actually take a second to take a step back and truly comprehend and dissect and acknowledge and recognize the lessons that are being presented to you in these challenging times. Because also with it, I do think successful, evolved people, again, however you want to define success, however you want to define evolved, those people are always ones that are looking to find the lessons in the less favorable things that happen to them. I feel like you really shoot yourself in the foot when you fall victim to challenging, adverse times of adversity, and you just think like, damn, like this really had no other purpose but to make me suffer. Then that's going to be the purpose that it's going to take, because it's really up to us. It's our responsibility to take what happens to us in life and really decide our reaction to it, right? There's a quote that's like, life is like 10% or something that's happened, like of what's happened to you, and 90% is how you react to it. Essentially, it's like your reaction. And so it's like, it's so up to us, again, going back to that creative your reality concept, to dissect these challenging times, these times of adversity, and to really decide and extract what these lessons are in there. It's up to you to decide that, right? There's no teacher of life, right, that's here telling you like, yeah, this happened to you because of this. Like, you have to take the responsibility to look into that challenging time and really reflect on what that lesson is there and apply it to yourself, to your life, to become better. And that's when you can really just see life through a fonder lens. And that's how you really can start to see life being beautiful all the time, whether something shitty happens to you or something amazing happens to you. And I think that's when you really get that steady baseline of genuine joy, of genuine gratitude that's like constantly playing in your background of your mind, of your soul, because you've truly have been able to see life as a whole in its entirety, in a whole entire different light. Like, I feel like people who struggle to see life in that way is because they have all these contradicting beliefs, right? Something like this of like, well, why does something bad happen? Or why are, there are people living like this when I'm living like this, and XYZ? Why is there adversity? Why are there challenges? Why are these petty things happening to me that bother me? It really is serving a higher purpose. And then once you see that, you can understand that life truly is so beautiful for so many different reasons in all its facets. Like, all of it is continuously serving a higher purpose. And again, I think there's so many different ways you can take this conversation of adversity, of everyone's beliefs of why they think it is the way why it is. But for me, I'm speaking mainly on these like petty small things in life, that you didn't get the job promotion that you wanted, or someone gave you a dirty look, or someone bullied you, or your neighbor was being rude because of this, or you tripped and fell because of this and you broke this. Like, I truly feel like all those things that really are small things, they're all there to help us deepen into becoming a better human and more evolved in some sense or another. Either quantified characteristics or just more so like characteristics. I do think it's all happening to positively impact those facets of us if we allow it, right? There's another great quote that's coming to my mind that's like, you could either get bitter or you can get better. And that's a really good quote. You could either get bitter or you can get better. And you could either get bitter by your adversities, by your hardships, by your challenges, and think, why me? Go victim mode, think life is unfair, think you have bad luck, right? But that's going to really do nothing but keep you getting more bitter, more cold, more stiff. And I don't know about you, but I have no interest in living that way. And so when you take this adversity and decide, I actually want to get better by this, not only do you become a more evolved human being, but you become happier, you become more hopeful, things start to make more sense, right? You get more clarity. And then when you're feeling better, you do better, and then you create a better life. So it's just like a way more positive feedback loop, essentially, at the end of the day. And the last thing that I wanted to say is I just felt like it's I just bumped the mic. It's a very poor sport mentality, in my opinion, to think that you can't believe in something greater or something high, like God, source, universe. I think it's a really poor sport mentality to think you can't believe in that if quote unquote bad things are happening in the world. I think we need to be a lot more humble we need to be a lot more humble than that. And we need to be a lot less entitled for that, right? We didn't come to earth to have it be this walk in the park, right? And of course, I'm all about deserving. We're all deserving inherently. It's a birthright to live a good life, right? But it's a bit entitled to think that we need to have no adversity happen to us in our life, because it's just not the way the world works. And there's still always been the concept of tough love. It's always going to be there, right? You give tough love to your siblings, to your parents, to your friends. Like sometimes you need that tough love in order to grow and evolve. And to me, that's what I think adversity is. I think that's really what I'm deciding when I title this episode, is that adversity is tough love. It's nothing that is there just to make you purely suffer or purely hate life or like have a poor life experience. It's all for your greater good. It's just some tough love needs to be given sometimes in order to create that diamond. Some pressure needs to be there in order to create that diamond. You need to learn how to work for something in order to create work ethic. You need to have something to care for, something to be responsible for in order to build responsibility. It's like these things can't be given to you if you don't have to go through the process. How am I supposed to learn patience if I've never needed to waited for my dreams to come into fruition, right? It's like all these little things. How am I supposed to learn compassion if I've never had to give kindness to someone who was mean to me, right? It's like all these certain things that really are all conspiring for the greater good. And it's really, life gets a lot sweeter and makes more sense. You get a lot more clarity when you can recognize that. So for the affirmation for this episode, I trust that all is happening for me, not to me. I trust that all is happening for me, not to me. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. I hope this episode hit home for you in some sense. I hope that someone really needed to hear this, and I hope this message found you exactly when it needed to and you needed to hear it most. Definitely be on the lookout for some things that I'm launching. They're 2 items, something that you can buy and something that you could wear. If you want to go look on YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're there at the Livfiit Listens podcast. And if you enjoyed this podcast episode, this was so smooth, then don't forget to leave a review either on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. You can also screenshot this, share it on your story, and tag me if you would like. I love to see who's listening, and all those actions are a way to support this podcast in a way that's completely free to you and help this podcast reach more people and grow and impact more lives, which is always the goal. So if this podcast has ever done anything for you in a positive way, you've gotten a positive impact from this, you've learned something, it's enlightened you in some sense or another, I'd really appreciate the share, rating, and review. It goes such a long way. Thank you guys so much for your time this week. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. I hope you had a beautiful week if you're listening to this at the end of it. I'm sending you guys so much love, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Actually, before I go, and if you're still here, I almost forgot, I am trying to have my dad back on the podcast. I got a comment on YouTube, which was genius. They wanted to do a Q&A with Joe. So if you have any questions, put them in the little Q&A response box. If you scroll down on Spotify, you can comment kind of on the podcast. You can send in your question that you have for my dad. If you need some sort of background, he's a 6-year-old man, father of 4 kids. He's gone through a divorce. He owns his own business. He's very disciplined into fitness and health. He's still working out and is in amazing health as a 6-year-old. He's very extremist. He loves his sports. So if any of those, if you have any questions in regards to that realm, just to give you some sense of relatability, to give you some context on who he is. And if you haven't already listened to the podcast episode with him, don't forget to do that because it's a few episodes back. But I'm really excited to have him back on and interview him with some questions from you guys. So thank you guys so much again for listening. I'm sending you so much love, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.